Okay, so win-win is basically seeking for my benefit, your benefit, my benefit, even though I have to compromise a little, you compromise a little, but ultimately we both need to benefit out of the solution that we arrive at. So seeking mutual benefits in all human interactions, win-win means that agreements or solutions are mutually beneficial. So what is the attitude to have? This is really basic. An attitude towards life, a mental framework of mind that says, I can win. This is more of motivational speech kind of a thing. So yeah, a win-win is not win-lose, neither is it I win, you lose, or you lose, I lose. It's not that. It's basically I win, I get a benefit out of it. You win, you get a benefit out of it, because together we have come to a consensus that yes, this would be the most beneficial for me, and this would be the most beneficial to you. Okay, so 5 strategies and tactics. So if you and me share the same vision and the same objectives and the goals, it's easier to arrive at a consensus, and it's easier to come to a common ground, because you and me ultimately want to reach to the same objective. You and me want the same objective. There are no differences in opinions, but probably just different ideologies, which we can come together by terms of negotiating. So mutual benefit, working on my benefit as well as your benefit. Now, holistic approach is again not thinking only from my point of view, but thinking from the point of view of your opponent as well. So your strategic creativity, of course, in how creative you are in the way you kind of come up with different alternatives that would be the most benefit. And you also kind of need to be flexible. You need to compromise a little, you need to be flexible, and you also need to be ready to, in order to accept, or you have to be adaptable to the new changes. Tactics, win-win mindset. Red lines is basically knowing where, up to which level you kind of need to compromise. If it's not going to be beneficial, of course, you will not arrive at a solution which is not beneficial for your opponent or not beneficial for you. So knowing where to draw the line and not going below what is set for the overall benefit of for your outcome, basically. So focusing on your objectives and the end goal, and making sure you all come to a consensus which is not below what you are ready to compromise. Empathy, attitude, and of course that goes with creative teamwork. Strategies for win-win negotiation: make multiple offers simultaneously. This is the multiple offer approach. Of course, you're not just going to go with one alternative. You need to make sure that you have, like, a number of alternatives which you can put forward to them. And how you are going to do this? By making sure you put forth different questions, by trying to ask them questions in a manner that you kind of understand what is their main goal or objective. So if you remember, taking you back to that orange example, if you all remember, rather than saying, this is an orange, I split half orange, you split half orange, okay, we compromise and that's the end of it, right? But ask you questions as to why do you want the orange. If I ask you why do you want the orange, and if you say to quench your thirst because you're thirsty, then I get an understanding, okay, so her main objective of wanting this orange is because she's thirsty. So probably I'll give her money to buy water, or probably I'll give her the orange pulp to just make the orange juice. But what I require is I need only the orange peel to make my cake, right? So why does she need the orange? Because she's thirsty, so I give her the pulp, or I give her money to buy water, or I give her another fruit to make to make juice out of it, right? So you are going to get, you are going to have different offers or different alternatives only if you kind of pose questions to your opponent, making so that gives you clear insights as to why do they want a particular thing, or why do they want to stick to this goal or this objective. So what is the main purpose? So once you know their purpose, it becomes easier for you to throw in different alternatives. And those would be called your buying chips. Okay, so finding the right match, offering the tenant a right match, the power to match any legitimate third-party offer would allow you to perceive your own flexibility while giving the tenant the opportunity to wide distribution of the move in the manner matching rights can improve the folds. Okay, so basically this means to say, if you are able to give them the right alternative to suit their purpose, then giving them the right match would also be a win-win situation. So a win-win situation is, yes, I understand her purpose and I give her an alternative that would suit her purpose, and I also come up with alternatives that would suit my purpose. So making sure you find the right alternative that matches your needs and requirements for both the parties. So coming to an agreement, both overall understanding the entire scenario, making sure this can be greatly to begin. Okay, so this can greatly increase your odds of being satisfied with whatever remedies are in place and help generate a win-win deal. So understanding the overall scenario, making sure what rewards each scenario has, making sure which alternative would have the highest advantage or the weightage, and playing your cards in the manner that would ultimately persuade and convince your opponent. Okay. So negotiating damages puts new issues. So with regards to the checklist, the other question is also working on the lines wherein you go ahead and kind of foresee the different issues that may probably arise, right? So if you foresee the different issues beforehand, it gives you an overall picture as to how do I fix these issues that may arise during a negotiation, right? So if you are able to visualize your negotiation, the issues, it also would give you different backup plans so that you can go ahead and fix those issues, or so that you can go ahead and work on best alternatives. Quit talking about the agreement with your counterpart and move on lest you spoil the deal. Explain your counterpart that you would each be free to reject a revised deal if it doesn't improve both outcomes. Yeah, so again, win-win situation is okay, not every time wherein, if you have a better partner and they have a better partner, going ahead with the partner because that is what is suitable for both the parties are happy. So settlements are wherein you reject it. Probably you are free to go ahead and reject whatever offers and counter offers are being put forth by you to your counterparty, and feeling free to walk out if it doesn't really serve your interest. 5 essential traits. Not restricting yourself only to this. Maybe you all can put in any different traits. So what do you think would be the best other traits apart from creative thinking, strategizing, asking questions, listening, empathizing, and considering and explaining? What would you think would be the other skills or traits which you can imbibe into this so that ultimately we come out with a win-win situation? Okay, tactics of win-win. Think of the long-term mutual gain. Set a trusting cooperative tone for a meeting right from the beginning. Yeah, so the main thing is make sure you build trust of your opponent. So once you have built that trust that they have in you, so whatever you are trying to put forward to them, they will not have any kind of doubts, right? So the main thing is make and look really trustworthy. So whatever you are bringing in to the table, if I trust you, I would definitely be convinced with what you are trying to convince me with. Do your homework. This again, like we said, the third party, the goals of your opponent and all of that. Discuss issues using first person. Okay, so so first person plurals are so we have three different points of view. That is the first person, second person, and third person. So first person is I, me, myself. Person is you. Third person is they. Right. So when you are negotiating, sticking to a first person would definitely lead to a more healthy discussion, because if I'm going to talk to you in would benefit out of this particular alternative or this alternative, right? So making, or even first person or even second person. So you see, sometimes you may say that, you cannot get a better offer anywhere else in the market. Now, this is my second person point of view, but still it is really making an impact, right? So when you're talking about the issues, make sure you're sticking to the first person. But when you're talking about the benefits, it would likely be more to use the second person point of view. Cool, clear? Okay, so a take it or leave it attitude creates pressure and limits options. So take it or leave it creates pressure. It also goes ahead and limits options. So don't paint yourself or the other person into a corner. That would make a win-lose scenario. So always when you are focusing on a win-win negotiation, don't clearly highlight your buttoner, which is your backup plan. Don't, put forth the alternatives that you already have and stuff. If you are working towards a win-win negotiation, make sure that you are going ahead and convincing them that with the alternatives that you have, which is ultimately going to benefit both the parties. Okay, so give to get. Show your willingness to give and take as long as the other party is willing to do the same. Maintain your composure and objectivity. If you get angry, obviously you lose. So you need to be calm and composed. You need to be considerate. You need to empathize with the other party. No matter, sometimes you're really boiling inside, but if they are not really ready to get convinced, you may really be angry. But then if you ultimately want to come out with a win-win kind of a situation, then you have to be calm and composed throughout the negotiation. Engage in creative problem solving. Okay, so how can we arrive to deal the amongst finance? Brainstorm all different purposes that achieve all criteria. So yeah, so brainstorm different alternatives. So what you can do is you can put the ball in their court and ask them to give you the best situation or the best alternatives that would eventually cover all the parties' goals and objectives. Make concessions gradually and increments. So small incremental moves are better than one sudden, large and drastic move during the course of negotiations. Smaller compromises are less threatening. Right. So rather than, if we are talking about the same salary negotiation thingy, rather than saying quickly jumping from 50% to 30%, that's not how it goes. So from 50, you will say, okay, 45%, then slowly 40%, then as and how the negotiation is going, you'll come down to 30%. But you already have it clear in your mind that below 30%, you at no matter would be convinced, or you at no matter would agree to go ahead with the negotiation. You would instead walk out, right? So gradually, slowly by slowly, you come down the ladder rather than just jumping directly from 50 to 30%. Okay, so document all agreements. Yeah, avoid any possibility of misunderstanding that would blow the whole deal. So So, which is why even if there are, increment in salary or whatever, quickly an email is dropped or you get a letter of increment, right? So that everything is documented and there is no scope for any misunderstanding. So even after, if there is no documentation after the negotiation, then what happens? Obviously, whom can you hold accountable? So yeah, so this is it. We've completed 4 modules. The best negotiations in business is whereby all parties would gladly repeat the process again. So main thing is, yes, I'm happy and you are happy. Of course, I would crack more deals with you, right? Because last time we negotiated, we came out with a win-win situation. So the relationship, business relationship surely matters to me, and so does it matter to you.